This is Small Biz Florida, the podcast designed and produced specifically for Florida small business owners and entrepreneurs. Small Biz Florida, talk that works for Florida. This podcast is supported by the Florida SBDC Network, providing the tools, strategies, and expertise to help Florida's business community thrive. Visit the Florida SBDC online at www.floridasbdc.org or contact your local office and get started on your path to success today.
This is Small Biz Florida, the podcast and broadcast that's all things business across the state of Florida. I am Tom Kindred, your host for Small Biz Florida, and we have got a big announcement anniversary to talk about and discuss today. The SBA, a critical component in the nation's small business ecosystem, a critical and important partner for the Florida SBDC. SBA is 70 years old this month in July. And to talk about the SBA, its role with small business, its history, we've got our very good friends and collaborators and partners. We've got Jonel Hein, who serves as the director of the North Florida District Office. Jonel, you are familiar with our platform here. You've been on a number of times. Welcome back to Small Biz Florida, Jonel.
Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate the time to talk about this important anniversary.
Agreed. Looking forward to the conversation. We've also got with us our important partner right here where we come from, which is the Treasure Coast. We've got with us Mr. Malcolm Richards, who serves as the director of the South Florida District Office, which is our partner here along the Treasure Coast. Malcolm, welcome to Small Biz Florida.
Good. Thank you, Tom, and good morning. And I'd like to express my gratitude for inviting us on your podcast this morning.
Hey, listen, this is big news. And as I said, intro in the show, there's really no more important partner to small business owners and operators, and there's certainly no more important partner to the Florida SBDC than the SBA. So I appreciate your time this morning to talk about the 70th anniversary. So let's get right to it. If you would, both of you, we'll start with Jonel, but just a little bit of your background, pathway to your current role as director with the Florida SBA program.
Sure. Yeah. I started long ago. We're going to speak about our legacy businesses, but I think I'm a legacy employee because I've been with the agency 32 years now.
Wow.
My first 30 years was actually in the office that Malcolm's in now, which is our South Florida office. Started as a receptionist and kind of worked my way up to now getting to lead our team in North Florida, which covers the upper 43 counties in our state, but have had, multiple different positions. The one that I like to stress the most was that I was actually a loan officer in that office in Miami, actually processing loans when we process them locally. Now we're in a centralized lending platform, if you will. So we don't get to touch the individual loans anymore. But I did always appreciate that experience that I had.
Wow. Gosh, Jonel, thank you. Thank you for the service. Wow, that's impressive. Malcolm, same question. A little bit of background, pathway to your role today.
Great. Thank you, Tom. I'm the director of the South Florida District Office. I cover the 24 southern counties in Florida. I started my career almost 15 years ago in upstate New York as a branch manager with SBA. I transitioned to New York City District Office as a supervisory lender relations specialist, and also I was in charge of the economic development specialist team in New York City. I spent a couple of years in New York City District Office, moved to Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, where I was appointed district director, there for about 6 years. And then I made my way to beautiful, sunny Florida, North Florida District Office. And I was there for 2 years, and I had the pleasure of working with my colleague, Jonel Hein, for almost a year and a half. And last July, I was appointed South Florida District Director. Prior to SBA, Tom, I came from commercial lending, three of the U.S. largest commercial lenders. I did underwriting, business development, and I was in management. So this is a brief overview of my history, professional history.
Nice. And again, we appreciate your service, and we're glad to have you in South Florida, Malcolm. So 70 years old. Let's talk quickly about the history of the SBA. I guess there was a congressional act that created the department. So give us a little bit of the history of the SBA, Jonel.
Well, the SBA was actually formed July 30th of 1953, when then President Eisenhower did in fact sign off on the Small Business Act, which actually gives us all of our authority to do what we do for not only the Florida business ecosystem, but nationwide for the small business community. So it started out as a way to kind of incorporate multiple programs that had been existing since World War II, and then after there was some reconstruction after that. And it just kind of created the focus of where we started our mission of helping to aid people either getting their footprint into, thinking about entrepreneurship, helping them grow, and then eventually getting into the disaster programs as well with the recovery that we do.
Wow. And I'm anxious to kind of talk about all that SBA does across the country for small business owners. But let's start with, how has the role of the SBA changed in response to economic challenges? I mean, obviously, the last 2 decades have really, kind of caught all of us in business off guard. Had a recession that no one saw coming, had COVID. We didn't see that one coming. I'm got to believe that back in President Eisenhower days, it was a little simpler and a little more straightforward. You guys are having to really hit some curveballs in the last couple of decades. How has the role changed?
So So Tom, as we have evolved as an agency, and I think for SBA, I can say we are both adaptive and also reactive. Adaptive in the sense of we feel the pulse of the economy. We feel the pulse of small businesses. We exist, our mission is to help small businesses. So as an agency, to stay relevant, we need to feel the pulse. And I think this is because we are adaptive. We were able during our formation years to transition from our, as Jonel mentioned, 1953, formative years and foundational years, to the 80s, where we expand our programs to uplift underserved communities, minority and women. In the 90s, we were driven by technology. We introduced our microloan programs. And of course, those are ways we became adaptive, feeling the pulse. And like currently, as high tech, high growth company, scalable company. So SBA is responding through being adaptive. On the other hand, we are also reactive, as you mentioned, the Great Recession we had in 2007. Thus, we had to enhance some of our programs, and I'm sure you could recall SBA limits was $2 million per small business, business, and we increased it to $5 million. We introduced temporary programs to help with the economy, so we became reactive successfully. So. By introducing different programs, pilot programs to keep the economy moving ahead. Nice. And recently, with the pandemic, this was a huge challenge for SBA. First time, it was unprecedented. First time SBA had to attend to this, massive undertaking. And we were rolling out policies as we were being reactive to the changes in the environment. And as with our Paycheck Protection Program, our idle shuttered venue,
Yeah.
operating. So those are some of the stuff where we became
Yeah.
reactive, but successfully so.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely. Those are great examples of those programs did not exist until the disaster kind of came on. So yes, great examples. Um, reflecting on the past 70 years, kind of looking back, I can't even imagine. We probably can't even come up with a number of the success stories, but just kind of maybe each of you talk about some sort of memorable success story that you had. And how did the SBA contribute to the growth and success of that particular business?
I would start with, South Florida, George. SBA, we have supported numerous, success stories, businesses along the way. Some of the well-known, as you know, like Apple, FedEx, we always mention at the national level. They receive backing from SBA during the early stages of development, and their contribution has been enormous. And many small businesses, we've been connecting them with resources so they become successful stories. But I wanted to kind of highlight one of our local businesses in South Florida, Lisa Industries. I see it, as a beacon of hope. It was started by George Yap. He's a immigrant, and he set up shop in Liberty City, and his vision was to found it, he founded Lisa from humble beginning, and of course, like any small businesses, he faced daunting challenges that often come with with the challenges the businesses have to undergo. SBA, we provide he secure financing through SBA, and also we connected him to resources that were available. And this allowed him to become successful. Today, this small venture has expanded, spearheaded now by his son, Andrew. They supply fresh fruits, foods, and products across the southeastern U.S. But their mission transcends, George, more than their revenue and profitability and success. But in the spirit of George's legacy, the company also served the community by hiring, formerly incarcerated individuals. They set up in Liberty City. They employed single parents, where society said, hey, there may be challenges, incarcerated folks. So that stand out as his legacy of giving back. So, this is something I see this as a testament to the transformative power of perseverance with George, community engagement, and the entrepreneurial spirit, what make, America great and South Florida. So I just want to put it out.
Nice. Yeah, great story. And again, engaged and used the resources of SBA. Jonel, give us again 32 years. I mean, my gosh, I can't imagine. Your list must be hundreds of pages of success stories, but kind of hit us with one that you remember.
Well, I agree with Malcolm. It's been very, very impactful for me to know that some of the stuff that we do, even if it's just a business connection or a resource connection that we can provide that can put a little bit of the business back on the right path, if you will. But I actually wanted to highlight our legacy business for our 70th anniversary, which is engineering and computer simulations in Orlando. And it started out as a very small tech company, but has grown through the assistance of the SBDC at UCF and SCORE in Orlando to be a company that is predominantly hiring veterans. They have a big veteran focus for their hiring, and they offer training and simulation activities that assist the U.S. military wherever they're based. So if you want to go through like a 360 totally immersive experience without actually having to do it while you're on the battlefield, they are the ones that are creating that type of technology that helps them. And to Malcolm's point, they've had the PPP. They actually were listed in North Florida in 2010 as the national winner of the Small Business of the Year award. It's our only national winner. So great to know that. But they're also willing to give back. They have mentorship programs. They're on different boards for simulation companies. Tech is very big at UCF, and there's a great innovation research incubator there. And so we actually had him, the CEO is Wayman Armstrong, and we had him up for our celebration just this last August 10th at the Jumbo Shrimp baseball game, and he got to throw out the first pitch, which was great. It said it was a bucket list for him, but we were so happy to highlight him and what he's been. So
nice. Again, great stories, and I'll tell one of my own, just kind of a interesting little story. But I had a client on that we were working with on the broadcast one evening, and I did not know this, but we're talking about the business challenges of small business, and it was so funny. He just kind of told us on the show, he goes, "Yeah, you know how I got this whole thing started was with an SBA loan," and it really just you could tell he was so appreciative, that there was a mechanism for him to start that business, and very successful. Now his son is running the business here along the Treasure Coast. So you don't really know, to Malcolm's point, who would have thought. But of course, I love that old saying where every big business started as a small business. So you just never know who really used and leveraged the SBA to start their business. So those are great stories. Looking ahead, how does the SBA stay engaged, continue to adapt and evolve to meet, honestly, as you both know, what is ever changing now landscape for small business owners? What does the vision look like going forward for SBA?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Go start, Jonel. Sorry.
No, I was saying that our vision actually comes from our leadership. Our administrator, Isabella Guzman, has kind of dictated to everybody here at SBA that we need to be adaptive, as Malcolm says, and reactive. So when we saw things like businesses that weren't able to get the assistance that we rolled out during the pandemic, now our charge, I know here in Florida, has been, kind of hammering away at that financial literacy. How do we make sure that if something happens again next time, you're ready and able to do that? But she wants us to be more tech savvy. The agency is rolling out a couple new platforms that are going to be more of a one-stop shop for our customers, and therefore they don't have to reach out to several different people within our district or at our program areas to get the assistance they need. But I wanted to mention that we also did create a partnership called the Small Business Digital Alliance that many businesses don't know about. And it was between SBA and Business Forward, which is an advocacy group for small businesses. But they brought in some really big national partners like Amazon and LinkedIn and Google and PayPal and Visa even, to offer tools that are free to the small business community as a way to kind of get them to understand that leaning into technology can be helpful as long as you have a plan and a strategy for using that technology.
Nice. Malcolm, talk about adapting, evolving as we move forward with SBA.
Sure. And I think I want to dovetail on what my colleague Jonel mentioned about technology. We've learned, Tom, that during the pandemic we relied on technology and to be effective in reaching the community, especially underserved communities. So I think technology will be the way for us as we streamline our loan application process, as how we do business. We need to be adaptive. And as we rightfully know, the millennials, the younger generations, they prefer everything they are tech savvy. So this is where we need to be to reach the community of future entrepreneurs. And as SBA, we continue to support and expand, our space for e-commerce and startups. In South Florida, as I mentioned earlier, Tom, I read I believe on Forbes magazine where they spoke about Florida, particularly the South, as folks move out of California, where it will become a hotbed for technology and scalable business. So I think, as Floridians and district officers and my colleague and myself, this is where we need to connect to ensure, and especially, we exist for underserved, communities that cannot obtain program elsewhere.
Right. So, what advice? What do you tell entrepreneurs, aspiring small business owners and operators who are looking to leverage the resources and support offered by the SBA? What's your advice? How do they get engaged?
Well, I think we've gotten, again, better at that since the pandemic. A lot of what we were doing pre-pandemic was in-person events. We didn't really go into the virtual space that much. But I think everyone kind of had to shift and change and adapt to what that looks like. And I think our reach is greater now because of that. We're signing new SAM agreements. Those are strategic alliance memorandums with local nonprofits so that we can cast a wider net and get more people into the fold of what it is that we do. We rely obviously on our resource partners like the Small Business Development Center and other organizations to be that mentoring expert, if you will. I know that Malcolm's owned his own small business before. I obviously have not. I grew up around it. My parents have had 3 small businesses, but I stay in my SBA lane and I make sure that, I don't overstep my bounds to tell someone how to start or operate their business, because we have fabulous mentors through our resource partner network that really can play that role and should play that role. So I actually was just at the SCORE National Conference yesterday, speaking to the entire attendees about how SBA can collaborate better with our resource partners. So it is something that we're always thinking about and ways that we can touch more people in the community.
And Malcolm, just speak very quickly, because it really is such a powerful resource, just SBA.gov. Just to go to that site, there are literally probably hundreds of buttons I can push on to access resources, assistance programs, connections. Is that true? Is that correct?
Yes, and this is a great way for small businesses, as we know, as South Florida and Florida in a whole. There's no shortage of economic organization and practitioners that can help. But I always encourage small businesses, look at SBA.gov, and we have wonderful resource partners like SCORE, like the SBDC, the Women's Business Center, and the VBUC. I think, we are the only agency, if I'm not mistaken, who can boast of the strength of our relationship and this one of, if not the strongest network, because I know a lot of organizations, and in Florida, the state utilizes, the SBDC and SCORE, the Women's Business Center, our resource partners. So I will always direct small businesses. We have our resource partners who can help with business planning and can provide as a roadmap. But we have a lot of resources in Florida. It's a hotbed, and as it becomes, very entrepreneurial, I always point folks to our resource partners, included also, Apex Accelerator. Even it's a partner, not necessarily one of our resource partners, but a partner for SBA.
And again, I get a pretty regular newsletter out of the South Florida district office where multiple trainings are taking place through the SBA. So truly, you need to get, if you are a small business owner, operator, entrepreneur, you need to get on that mailing list and leverage all those things. And again, it can all start by just visiting SBA.gov.
Well, the other thing also is
ahead.
that our website is available in I think 15 different languages as well.
Wow.
So again, it doesn't have to be, you're only looking at the English page. If you are more comfortable in another language, then we have that adaptive technology as well.
Great to know. All right. So here it is, the finale. So in celebrating 70 years of impact, what message do you want to convey to that whole broad community of small business owners and operators about the importance of the SBA and its support and how they nurture small businesses?
I'll say, Tom, as we celebrate our 70th year, we have journeyed with, countless of small businesses because we understand they're the pillar that keeps our economy, is the foundation of our economy, is the lifeblood, as, many people say. And I think for, our small businesses, they provide, they're the innovators. They push the economy forward. And as I mentioned in my story earlier, we had Lisa's Industries and the Yapi legacy. It's a testament to the transformative power of small businesses, both local and national, and the importance and the support that those businesses provide to the economy. So, and it showcased, a small family, how the change impacts the impact it has had on the community and continue with the formerly incarcerated. So the ripple effect is so important. So we have resources out there. I was a small business owner, as Jonel mentioned, for 8 years, Tom. So I know the challenges and that small businesses face.
Yeah.
We have sufficient support out there. I always invite folks, visit us. We have the district office, we have our website, we have our resource partners. So let us continue. I would say, we'll champion the spirit of the entrepreneurs. We'll support small businesses and create where dreams can flourish and opportunities can abound. And I always say, together we can build a future where small businesses continue to shape our economy, strengthen our communities, and inspire a new generation to come.
Nice. Jonel, 32 years, you've seen and done it all. What do you say to a small business about leveraging these resources and the work that the SBA's done?
Well, I guess what I want them to know is that we're there, like Malcolm said, to help. I mean, between our two district offices here in the state of Florida, over the last 5 years, I can't go 70 years, but I can go at least 5 years back and let you know that in our regular traditional guaranteed loan programs, between the two offices, we've been putting out between $2 and $3 billion in loan guarantees each year.
Wow.
And our government
hold on. I
want
to make sure I heard that right.
Yeah,
so over the last 5 years, between the two district offices in the state of Florida, you have put out between $2 and $5 billion with a B dollars in capital access for small business owners.
2 and $3 billion. We're not
2 and
5
3.
yet. We're getting there.
Right. Woo! See, I'm glad I repeated that. $2 and $3 billion dollars in
but yeah, it is
access.
Billion with a B. Yes,
wow.
And our contracting dollars are also very strong. The state of Florida, we have certain contracting goals. 23% goes to small businesses. We have 5% that are supposed to go to women-owned businesses, 3% for our hub zone and our service disabled veterans. Florida kills those numbers every year. Like, we're higher than what that national average and what that national goal is. So between the two districts, again, I think in government contracting to small businesses, we're at more than maybe $6 to $7 billion in contracting. Wow. It's a lot of money. And we have the resources. I like to think of our agency as a resource connector. We talk about our resource partners, but the office itself, the district offices, can be resource connectors, because if we don't know a program that will work for someone adequately, we know someone that probably has a program that can work.
Yeah, I just encourage folks. As 70 years old, and I'm still willing to bet you that there are some small business owners and operators who are not familiar with all that the SBA provides and does. I think when people think of the SBA, they kind of focus on the one element. Well, there's SBA loans, but but there's just so much more, and it's so easy to figure it all out. Just go to SBA.gov, and all you got to do is just search around on that site. There are all kinds of resources and assistance programs. And then, like Malcolm's pointed out a couple of times, then it's all the resource partners, SCORE, the Women's Business Centers, the SBDC, which is who we are. And then, as you say, partners with the formerly the PTAC, now the APEX program in government contracting. So it really is. It's direct support, it's collaboration and connections, and it's resources. It's an incredible program that I think every small business owner and entrepreneur needs to understand and leverage. And I can't thank both of you enough for your time this morning to talk about 70 years of, just awesome support for small business.
We appreciate you having us on, Tom. I mean, anytime that we can get on any kind of platform to let people know, I agree with you. There are still some people that may not know that SBA exists. Right. And so anytime we can go and let people know that what is it they say, that the 9 words that no one likes to hear is that we're from the government, we're here to help. But it's true. I mean, our offices are here to help. So, people don't know what they don't know. Right. So your tax dollars have already paid for this service. You might as well come and get in connection with us and find out everything we can help you with.
All right. It is Malcolm Richards, who serves as the South Florida District Director. He represents the 24 counties in the bottom half. And it is Jonel Hein, who is the Director of the North Florida District Office for the SBA. And how many counties do you have, Jonel? Was it
43?
43. Wow.
From Orange County up to the Panhandle.
To the Panhandle. Both of you, I cannot thank you enough for all you do every day. Thank you. Send a thank you to your teams in your district offices for all that they do. There's probably not a week go by that I don't have a conversation with someone from the SBA. We've got our very good friend and collaborator and partner here along the Treasure Coast, Lonnie Koyama, who is with the SBA, and we count him as one of our critical partners. So again, thank you this morning for your time. Thank you for your years of service to the SBA. Thank you for you and your teams and all you do for Florida's small business community.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. And with that, we will bring to close this birthday celebration. All we lacked was, I guess, some food and a cake. But it is 70 years of small business service from the SBA, Small Business Administration. That'll do it for this segment of Small Biz Florida, but stay tuned. There's always more to come. This is Small Biz Florida.
This has been Small Biz Florida, created and produced by the Florida Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College. Your host for Small Biz Florida is Tom Kindred. Partners for Small Biz Florida include WPSL and WSTU and Indian River State College, named the 2019 winner of the Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence.